welcome to MBA Mental Boost. This is your coach, Dr. Rosie, and today we're diving into something that we have all experienced, and that's failure. Now, I have to add a note to this because I am full of cold. You can probably hear it. So apologies now if I snuffle and sniff my way through today's episode, but I wanted to show up and give you this content because it is really valuable. So let's come back to failure. Here's the thing. If you want to become truly resilient, if you want to perform at your highest level consistently, you have to learn how to fail. So it might sound really strange, but I quite like failing because it shows that I tried, that I stepped out of my comfort zone, and that means growth. So it doesn't mean that I love failure. It just means that I like the fact that it's that process of growth and it shows that we're progressing forward. So let's not avoid failure, not run from it, but use it as something that we can learn from, because like it or not, failure is all part of the process. So let's embrace it. Now, the best athletes, the ones who have that edge, that grit, and that unstoppable mindset, they've all failed and they've all learned how to bounce back faster and stronger. And this is where mental performance training really comes in. And today I'm going to be breaking down exactly how learning to fail, and more importantly, learning how to recover from failure and recover faster, can boost your resilience and elevate your game. I want to offer you a thought. Failure itself doesn't define you. What does define you is how quickly and effectively you recover from that failure. Now, the difference between athletes who stay stuck and athletes who progress and actually achieve what they want, it's all in that recovery process. So learning to bounce back quicker is key for high performance. And this bounce back ability or resilience isn't something that you're born with. It's something that you build. And I think that's a really empowering thought to hold on to. So how do you actually lean into failure and develop that resilience? I'm going to walk you through 3 mental strategies that I use with the athletes that I coach. And they're strategies that will help you to shift your mindset on failure and get you back in the game faster. So, number 1, reframe your failure. This means changing how you see that failure, that perception. So instead of thinking, shit, I messed up, I'm not good enough, and then replaying that scene of failure over and over in your mind, but without taking action, let's switch that thought to, this is an opportunity to grow. This is just another opportunity where I can learn and I can grow. Every missed shot, every turnover, every loss is just feedback. So it's telling you where your game needs refining. The faster that you can adopt that growth mindset, the faster you'll turn your setbacks into setups for future success. And that's one of the determinants of flow state, is getting that instant feedback. So it's something to keep practicing. One of the biggest mental shifts that elite players make is viewing failure as part of the learning process. There's that quote from Michael Jordan where he talks about the thousands of shots that he's missed. I forget the number. It's something like 9,000. And how he failed and over and over and over again. And that's exactly what made him unstoppable, because he used that failure as fuel. And I heard him once in an interview saying that he would seek out his weaknesses so that he knew where he needed to put in the work. So I want you to think about that for a moment. He would seek out his weaknesses. When most of us hide away from them, we distract ourselves by doing something else, we don't have to face them. He was seeing weaknesses as something different. So with that growth mindset, he saw them as opportunities for learning and growth. So I want you to ask yourself, am I avoiding failure or am I embracing it? And what are you learning from this way of interacting with failure? By the way, I am not saying it's comfortable by any means. I'm not saying that we necessarily love failure. It can suck. It can feel totally shit. But you know what feels worse? Living in regret, wondering what if, had I just taken that risk? Had I just stepped out of my comfort zone there? Had I just tried? What if? So yeah, I'll always face failure head on. It's not something I used to do, by the way. This is a practice. This is a skill I've definitely lent into. And I think it also comes from experience of being like, okay, I faced that failure. That was really hard. It was fucking hard. It was really uncomfortable, but I'm alive and I've grown. So you do it again. So I will always face that failure because I know when I push through it, I then see how much I've grown. And then you know what? Those multiple thousands of times that you fail, that you push through, that you then succeed, that's going to create so much more growth than you ever not taking the risk or not leaning into that failure. So I want to offer you that way of thinking as well, seeing failure as that part of progress. All right, number 2, shorten your recovery time. How quickly do you bounce back when things don't go your way? Are you letting mistakes from the first quarter haunt you in the fourth? Or do you let it go and refocus? This is a skill that takes practice, but it's absolutely critical. Now, my clients have multiple games in a week, so we need to be able to release the previous game, rest, recharge, ready to go again in a very short space of time, like 1 to 3 days later. One of the techniques I use with athletes is a simple debrief process. So after every practice or game, just reflect on 2 things. What went well and what can you improve on? But, and this is important, don't dwell. Keep it short, keep it sharp. I always say to my clients that we take the learnings and we flush the rest. Focus on actionable adjustments that you can make for the next time. So the goal here is to reduce that emotional hangover that comes from failure. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You want to train yourself to get back into that positive headspace as quickly as possible. But it's not about pushing stuff away. It's not about, pushing stuff deep down, where obviously then we think about mental clutter and it all piles up. It's about being able to face it, take the learnings, release the rest, and reset. So you're still keeping your mind clear. It's not about avoiding and distracting. It's about facing it head on so you can move through quickly. It's all about that mental recovery. The more efficiently that you can move through that recovery cycle, the quicker you're going to perform at your peak again. And finally, number 3. Now we've touched upon this already, but lean into the discomfort. Now this one's tough. I know it is tough. I feel you, but it's a game changer. Failure, it feels uncomfortable. No one likes the feeling of messing up, especially, in a game environment. But here's the kicker. You've got to embrace that discomfort. Now, mental performance coaching is all about teaching athletes how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I know it's a cliche, but it's so true. This is where resilience is truly built. You push yourself to sit with that failure, learn from it, and come out stronger on that other side. That's how you build mental flexibility. Now, an aside, I don't like the term mental toughness. That's probably for another episode, but I talk about mental flexibility. You stop running from it and instead you face it head on. And let's be real, there's a lot of pressure in the game. You're going to face situations where things don't go your way. But when you practice leaning into that discomfort, it no longer controls you. It doesn't have that hold on you, and you then take back that power. Now, all of a sudden, if you're thinking from that powerful place, your thoughts are very different, your feelings are completely different, your actions are different. You're also signaling to your nervous system that you're safe. There's no saber-toothed tiger, because our brain and our nervous system can go into kind of survival mode that's, a hangover from our caveman days. And that then is a game changer if you can regulate your nervous system and operate from that more regulated state. So to recap, here's how you build resilience through failure. First of all, reframe failure as feedback. It's not the end, it's the beginning of the learning process. Shorten your recovery time. Practice bouncing back quickly by debriefing and making fast, actionable adjustments. And then lean into the discomfort. Train your mind to get comfortable in the most uncomfortable of moments. Now, working with a mental performance coach can accelerate this process, helping you not only to bounce back faster, but also fine-tune your mental game for peak performance. It's all about giving you the tools to thrive in those tough moments when others might break. I find with clients, when we can talk openly and comfortably about failure, it has less of an emotional hold. Resilience isn't about never failing. So tell your brain that. This is not about never failing. It's about how you handle failure and how fast you come back stronger. So I hope that you found this episode useful, and whatever you're up to today, I hope you have a good one. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of MBA Mental Boost, the secret weapon to supercharging your performance on the court. If you found today's episode useful, don't forget to subscribe and share. You can connect with me over on any social platform. You can find me at Dr. Rosie Mead. Until next time, go out there and dominate using the power of your mind. This is Dr. Rosie, signing off.